Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I am Tori Lynn. Let's blossom today. Today I'm going to be doing an all orange makeup look. If you watched last Tuesday's video, I started a new series. For Christmas, my husband bought me a collection of palettes. There's a palette for each color of the rainbow. We have Roy G. Biv. I started last week with the red palette. Now this week I'm going to be using the orange palette. These are from a brand called DOCOLOR or DOCOLOR. I'm still not 100% sure, but I did find out he bought these from Amazon, and each palette is between like $12 and $14 depending on the palette. Last week when I filmed the red one, some of the palettes were on sale. I do believe that the red palette was out of stock at the moment, but like the blue and the green palette and several of the palettes were on sale. But anyways, this week we're going to be doing the orange palette. So in this rainbow palette collection series, every Tuesday for several weeks I'm putting out a video where I use one of the palettes to create kind of a monochromatic eye look. So last week I started with the red. This week I'm going to be using the orange, and next week I'll be using yellow. So if you're interested in watching that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I don't ever do monochromatic eye looks. Of course I do, red eye looks, but I usually add other colors into it. I don't usually stick with all red or all orange or all whatever colors, I add variations of colors. So this is definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone. I actually had to look up some inspiration for an all orange look. I've used orange lots of times in my makeup looks before. Some of my favorite palettes have oranges in them. I love like a neutral palette with a few oranges, especially in the fall. I love to pop an orange in, but I don't ever just use orange. Now this palette is called the Soul palette. It's a very similar look to the last palette. Matte background, a glossy glazed gem on the front, and then the name of the palette in big letters, and then the back just has information about the shadows and the brand. And again, this brand is cruelty free. And then the inside, it's got the same look as the front, except for it's solid matte. There's not a gloss on the gem. And then you have the shadow. Now this palette is stunning. This palette does have this deep purpley shade in it. It's kind of nice. They do add something in there to give you some depth or add a little extra something in there. I mean, granted, purple and orange go great together. So it is nice that they throw something extra in there. But the look I have in mind today, I actually don't think that I am going to use that. I think we're going to stick with the more brighter orange tones. And I love that intense glitter shade that it's got there in the center, but I also don't know that I'm going to use that today either, just because I don't want all my looks to look the same as the look I did with the red one, shadows in the crease and glitter on the lid. So I don't think I'm going to use that glitter shade, although it's stunning and beautiful. On the bright side, both the yellow and the green palettes have very similar glitter shades in the center. Not quite as true gold as this one. Obviously, this one's got a little more warmth, a little more orange to it. Let's just go ahead and jump in. Last time I started out this video by doing my foundation and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do the same thing this time. Just skip past all that. That way we can get right into the eye look. Let's jump into the eyes. So I just realized that this has like skulls in the background of it. Did the other one have? Well, maybe they all just have something different. I guess just they all have something different in the background. But they all have kind of like a galactic-y, spacey look to them. We already kind of went over what the palette looked like. I'm not really going to go over that. We're just going to jump right in. So I'm going to start by taking the creamy white matte shade. I'm glad that this palette has one of those because the red one did not. And I'm going to go ahead and set the lid down. So I want to take this kind of medium orange color. It's probably the lightest of the matte orange shades. I'm going to pop that in the crease. This is going to be like our transition shade. It's going to help kind of just blend everything together. Give us a nice soft diffused look with our orange around the edges, I think. So I'm not going to be afraid to really work this shade out, if that makes sense. If the shade gets a little bit smoky around the edges, if it gets worked up a little bit higher than just a typical crease shade, that's okay. This is going to kind of give us our softer edge. We'll probably come back to this shade at some point. But this palette was not set up like the red one. The red one had the matte shades on the 2 outer rows and then the 3 shimmery shades on the inside. And this palette it's of course got the gold set up in the middle, but then this is a shimmery shade here, and then this is a shimmery shade here. So I guess they kind of just swapped these two maybe. But in the other one, these 3 were shimmers, and then these were matte, and these were all matte. So I guess really the only 2 differences, these are swapped. I don't know, just a little different than the other one. This color reminds me of summer, like sunflowers and sunsets. And I'm kind of here for it. I was about to move on to the next shade, and then I remembered I actually want to take that shade before I move on to the next one, and I kind of want to start to feather that shade out a little bit, kind of bring it up under the brow, kind of out in a point, if you will, kind of wing it. Now I'm going to jump into that really bright orange shade, and I'm going to take a much smaller brush, and we're going to work that a little tighter into the crease. Kind of similar to how I did it in that last video. Taking each shade a little bit brighter, a little bit more intense, and working it in a smaller, tighter space in the crease. I am going to work it all the way into the inner corner as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I did to the last shade. I'm going to wing it out. So now, like I said, I'm going to go back in with that original brush that I used in that very first shade. And I'm not really going to dip into the shade. I'm just going to kind of sweep over. I'm just using whatever product was left over. This will just kind of soften the edge a little bit. Blend those shades together a hair more. Now I'm going to set the palette aside for a minute, and I'm going to grab my concealer and a good concealer brush. So I've got my Shape Tape, and I use the shade Porcelain Beige, and then I just have a Morphe concealer brush here. And I'm going to go in and we're going to do a cut crease. I'm going to do my cut crease like normal here along the lid, and then instead of either, you know, feathering it out like I would or bringing it down to meet the outer corner, we're going to wing it out and follow that tail we've got with the shadow. Now I chose my Shape Tape because it's one of my most pigmented concealers. It's a very strong pigmented concealer. Just got really great coverage. So one of your best coverage concealers. It's also one of your lighter concealers. See, like normally when I'm doing a cut crease, like this is where I would stop, but we're gonna keep going today. That was one of the most painstaking processes of my life, and it's not even perfect. I'm not gonna lie, I've never done that before. That was kind of an experiment, to be honest. I've never tried to wing them out before. I think it'll look better when I get it finished. I want to add liner on the bottom, so it's not done yet. They're not perfect. They're not exactly even. This side I kept messing up on, and then it just kept getting out of hand. But I'm going to stop. I'm going to move on before I make it any worse. So anyways, I'm not perfect, guys. I'm going to jump back into the palette, and I'm going to take that matte creamy vanilla shade, and I'm just going to set that down. Yeah, I just kept getting from bad to worse. My eye started watering, and then I opened my eye up too wide, and it made my line even higher, and things were not going well with that. So then I tried to fix it, and then I made another error, which made it a little misshapen, and then I did the other eye, and they weren't the same shape, and it was a hot freaking mess. Like I said, I've never done that before. I would like to attempt to do that again on another makeup look, because I think that this could be really pretty if I just got my line a little more clean. Like, look at that. That could be really pretty. It needs to have the right shape. It doesn't have the right shape right now. But I'm hoping that adding a winged liner will kind of fix that. Will kind of redirect the fact that it doesn't have the right exact shape. I was just getting so tired. I probably spent 20 minutes trying to do that. And so I was like, okay, we've got it. We've got to move on. You can only do so much, you know? You live and you learn. I didn't realize it was going to be so difficult because I haven't had issues with doing just the regular cut crease part that I don't normally have issues with. So it just wasn't meant to be a perfect journey today, and that's okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my Maybelline Master Precise liquid liner and draw on a nice big wing and hope that it can kind of tie it all together. I hope that it'll kind of calm down the craziness of my not so great cut crease. That also took me for terrifyingly ever, because my eyes started watering again and caused a bunch of issues. Eyeliner started watering. This is just not my day, guys. But the liner ended up turning out okay. We had a few hot mess spots that we had to clean up with some concealer. But in the end, I think it turned out okay. Definitely, I feel like helped the cut crease shape up a little bit. So that's kind of the eye look. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my skin now and throw on some lashes, and I will be back to put on a lip with you guys and finish off this look. See how those eyelashes and everything in the liner, it really does just pull that concealer together. It kind of reshaped it a little bit, and I knew it would. So I feel like makeup always gets worse before it gets better. I don't know, do you guys ever feel that way? But my skin is all finished. Everything looks so much better. But I realized as I was doing my lashes and stuff, I was going to do a little bit of smoke on the under eye. So let's do that, because I totally forgot. I pretty much always do the same thing on the under eye as I do with the lid. I always try to mirror the two. So I'm going to take the brighter of the two orangey shades here, and I'm going to start with that shade. I'm pretty much going to go from the outer corner all the way to the inner corner. That orange is so bright and fun. I love it. Now, originally I was kind of thinking that I was going to take that first orange shade that we use, kind of the lighter of the matte shades, and go over it just to soften it and kind of smoke it out even more. So maybe I will. Just a little bit. Basically, I'm going right underneath it and overlapping them just slightly. Oh yeah, I really like that. That's super fun. That palette has no like light shimmery shade. So I'm just going to take my Too Faced Hot Buttered Rum palette and grab the shade Whipped Cream. It's like my favorite go-to inner corner highlight. And I'm just going to pop that right on the inner corner. And I'll even pop a little bit on the brow bone just for good luck. I think that's it for the eyes. So the last thing left to do is to throw on a lip. Now I have gone back and forth in my mind a lot while I was finishing off my skin about what I wanted to do. I was like, do I want to do matte? Do I want to do glossy? Do I want to go orange? Do I want to do something more of a soft pink? Do I want to go crazy and do like a fun metallic? And to be honest, I pulled out all of those options, but I think I'm going to try to go for a more nude orangey lip. And I don't have anything true like orangey peachy, which I wish I had, but I don't. So I'm going to start with the Galactic Beauty matte lip paint in the shade Posh. It's a really pretty kind of burnt rusty nude. It's very similar to Delish from Tarte. I used to have one, an orangey color that was from Smashbox. I don't remember what it's called now, but I used it all and I had to throw it away. So I'm a little bummed about that. It just popped in my mind that I used to actually have one. It was like a sample I got in an Ipsy or a Boxy Charm or something. And anyways, long story short, I ended up using all of it and having to throw it away. This is definitely darker than I had intended. Still a little darker than I want to go, so I think I'm going to add some of this. I think this is Noble from Kat Von D or KVD Beauty. It actually says Kat Von D on it, but I'm pretty sure they've rebranded since then. So I'm going to throw this over the top. So we'll lighten it up quite a bit, but this is a very peachy lip product. I almost thought about wearing this on its own, but then I was like, that might be too light. Still not exactly what I was going for or hoping to go for. So let's get crazy and let's add some of this bronzy lip color in the shade I Gotta Go. This is from the Shane Dawson Conspiracy Collection. This is actually a Jeffree Star lip product though. The thing about these is if you like rub them in too much, they lose their pigment really fast. I mean, honestly, it's a really pretty lip combo. Not what I was going for. It kind of reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? This lip combo reminds me of something that would have been on a Bratz doll back in the day. Like, do you guys feel that? Do you feel the Bratz doll combo? Like that, with that bronze on it? So, not at all what I was going for. The bronze definitely gave it a little more of that orangey look to it though, so I'm glad I added it, but I don't know. Fun. What do you guys think about this look? I definitely had some struggles along the way between that cut crease and that liner. If my eye would have stopped watering, and I don't know what was going on, but I have like unnecessary issues today. Like things that I don't normally have issues with were just giving me issues. It took me a really long time to film this makeup look, like way longer than it should have. But in the end, I'm actually really happy with it. I think it's really fun. I will definitely be practicing this winged cut crease for future looks because I think this could be really cool. I would say one eye is better than the other, but I don't know that that's true. They just look different. Anyways, let me know what you think about this look. Obviously, I'm not perfect, you guys. But yeah, let me know what you think about this look down below. If you have any tips or tricks to doing the winged cut crease, then let me know because I've never done one before. I didn't watch any videos on how to do it. I have just seen pictures of people doing it. I was like, that would be really fun to do with one of these looks. So yeah, I obviously need some practice doing it, but overall I think the look turned out okay. Doing that liner and throwing the wings on definitely helped tie it together. I just wish I wouldn't have had issues with the liner. My liner was just too dry. I need to buy a new one. And my eye was watering. It created so many other issues and it was just a hot freaking mess. But in the end, it turned out okay for being a hot freaking mess. And I do like this lip. I was envisioning something a little bit more orangey, something to match the eye a little more. But I like it. I'm happy with it. I think it's very pretty. I'm excited to try out the yellow palette. I'll give you a little sneak peek of the palette. Here's what the outside looks like. And oop, there you go. That's all you guys get. So if you guys want to see what I do with that yellow palette, then go ahead and subscribe and come back for next Tuesday. I will have that look out next Tuesday, guys, so a week from today. I always post videos at 6 a.m. Pacific time, so set your alarms if you want to get up and watch it that early, although who the heck would want to get up that early and watch it unless you're East Coast, then you may already be up. But Tuesday, those videos will be out for the next couple of weeks. We've got several more palettes to go. So we've got quite a few palettes to go. We're just getting started on this bad boy. Anyways, guys, I'm in love with this look. I think it's fun. I need, obviously, a little bit of practice, but I really like how it turned out considering all the struggles I went through. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.